we have a chef that worked for a billionaire saying some rather curious things, my friends. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. We're going to get into it in this video. This guy right here presented the story. I'm going to play some clips from his video. We're going to get into what our president recently said that caught a lot of people off guard. We got full spectrum covering it right here. I'll get into that. We got also just where we're at in our society currently, pulling in the AI question, and why are they building bunkers? Actually, these guys that the chef worked for, billionaires living in bunkers, and the reason why he was living in it, well, it's pretty interesting why. We'll get into that. And then at the tail end, we'll get into this interesting find. This woman here found in her old 1883 Bible, plain as day, tells you something truthful that a lot of the church apparently doesn't know. We'll get into that as well at the tail end of the video. Let's just go on here. Let's start with where our society is. I thought this was interesting what this guy had to say here. Being a millennial. Of course, I'm not a millennial, but this guy's a little bit younger, obviously.
I swear every millennial in 2026 is just totally ready to pull a complete 180 because we basically grew up in an era where we watched innovation make life genuinely better every single year. Like think when cell phones first came out, or iPods, digital cameras, smartphones, when there was literally an app for everything. Like we were so incredibly pumped. And then it just turned. Everything became a subscription. Social media became an algorithm. A sandwich costs $20 for whatever reason, and you can't go 24 hours without some sort of once-in-a-lifetime event coming directly to your phone, which is now, by the way, a 7-inch supercomputer that was designed to command our attention 24/7. Like,
well, it's interesting what he said there because, yeah, sandwiches are $20 now. It's really ridiculous like that, isn't it? And you know, we kind of predicted that when they printed all that money, literally doubled the amount of money in circulation back in 2020 because of the COVID, which I was railing against the whole time. We better not do this. And they did it. And I'm like, well, we're guaranteed to have insane inflation in the future, which we did. But of course, that's because they took the dollar off the gold standard. That was the reason why that happened. But on top of that, everything's turning into a subscription now. I literally just saw that in 2027, all the new refrigerators, they're going to start doing subscriptions on ice. I'm not joking. Like maybe not all the refrigerators, but a lot of them are going to do this whole thing where you get a whole year of free ice. And then after that, you have to pay $30 a year to have ice from your own freaking refrigerator. That's insane. Okay. That's literally insane. They're doing subscriptions on cars now. They're trying to put a subscription on everything, it seems like, anymore. Right? And of course, we're definitely not going up by leaps and bounds in a good way anymore. Now we got AI instead. And now we're like concerned, is it going to become like the Matrix or Terminator or something? On top of the fact you can't afford anything.
I got a serious question. How the is it that I work out in sites like this? Blue collar work, right? We building shit like this. Valve cans, pipe, backflows, you know, concrete, all this shit. Blue collar work, you know what I'm saying? How the is it that I work in this? And I'm a heavy equipment operator, so that is what I operate, you know. That is another one. But yet, I'm still struggling to live in America. I'm building shit like this.
It's true, man. Like I just did a video on this. A new doctor makes $80,000 a year when like just a house, a normal small house costs $500K, and you would have to make about $180,000 a year just to afford it. That's where we're at. I remember when I was younger, a doctor usually had a mansion. Maybe not the new doctor that just got hired, but obviously after a few years, you got some serious money, but not anymore, apparently. I mean, this guy's obviously running these heavy equipment. You would think that he's probably making some decent money, right? But that's how it is now. A lot of people can't afford to buy a home anymore. They can't afford to buy a new car. And we're also seeing these data centers going up everywhere, knowing that these could take our jobs, also make our bills higher. Although our president recently came out and said that he's making some rule that they can't make your bills higher. But then he said something else that was kind of weird. full spectrum covers right here, saying you must live with this, you must accept it.
Donald Trump just addressed the nation of the United States of America, and he told us not to fight the information centers that are being built across the USA. He said that we and communities across our country are practically begging for them, and it's simple infrastructure that's designed to keep our cars working better, our phones, our homes, and our cities running faster.
I feel like our president really just doesn't understand what's going on. And this is my concern back in January when he got Sam Altman to the White House, and he's like, yeah, we got to do this. I forgot what they call it, what they're calling the project. Stargate? I think it's Stargate, right? Oh, we got to build all these data centers. And then recently he came out like about a couple weeks ago. I can't believe people are getting arrested for fixing their cars. He doesn't realize how all this stuff's all connected. Like, he doesn't understand this. That the new cars are being engineered in a way to where you can't even fix them anymore because they're so complex. And then they're trying to get you arrested for trying to fix your car. Then they put all this weird electronics in it, particularly ones with AI, looking at your eyes and other weird stuff. And it's like our president has this huge disconnect. And I was concerned about this because he's 80. Okay, and you can't pretend like 80-year-olds don't get it when it comes to this stuff. Please do not pretend like he knows all this stuff. Do you remember how it was when you were younger and you watched your teacher, you couldn't even put a VHS tape in a VCR? You remember that? And you're like laughing at him? He's 80, okay? And you think he's going to understand what AI really is? Understand what all this stuff is? He thinks it's just infrastructure. It really boggles my mind how he can. I mean, obviously, there's a disconnect there.
But, I didn't see a problem. When you have arthritis or you have a broken bone, you can usually tell. I've broken my bones before, and I know that when something inside of me needs fixing, well, you can really tell that it needs to be fixed. The only thing that is wrong with this country right now is corporate takeovers of private everything.
Yeah. 100%.
And the idea that there is nothing that anyone can do about it.
So this is really, honestly, I don't know if it's our president just doesn't get it or what's going on here. I feel like I'm actually pretty concerned about it. I was concerned about it back in January. Now I'm even more concerned about it. Look, there's clearly someone behind the scenes that knows what the hell is going on. And they like this idea of corporate takeover. They get it. And the reason why they're going the corporate route is because they can't do it the GOV route, because we have First Amendment, we have all these rights, and that's why they have to go the third-party private route to do this. That's why they got the third-party cameras. You see what I mean? Going up everywhere. It's third-party because that's the way they can get around it. Get around that old dusty document that gave us rights. That's the whole point. And you can see that this is like evil festering, evil trying to find a way to sort of subvert us, right? You have here Sam Altman, and you got this video AI expert. They're building bunkers for a reason. Oh, we're gonna show you why. We got a chef that worked for one of these guys. Heard a little bit too much stuff, got a little freaked out, started building his own bunkers, literally living in it 24/7. Let's just check this out first, though.
And now he is saying the people building AI are putting bunkers underground while publicly telling you the future is bright. I find that hard to shake. Here is his full...
Bro, think about that. They're telling us everything's going to be awesome. We're going to have, what was it? What is the word? Wealthy income or something, where they just give us money for no reason. I can't remember what the word, universal high income or some stupid thing like that. They're telling us that. Yeah, like they're going to give us free money. Why would you give me free money? You're not going to give me free money. You're only saying that to me so I go along with the program. That's literally the only reason you're saying that. Oh, it's going to be great. Nobody's going to lose their jobs, and everything's going to be awesome, and everything's going to be affordable. I do believe there is going to be some aspect to where if AI was actually going the right direction, which has like about a 5% chance, I mean, if even that. I mean, if you have God miraculously turning it around, maybe it will actually go the right direction. But Right now, it's got like a 95% chance of going the wrong direction from what I can tell. If it actually went the right direction, you could theoretically see how things could get cheaper. It might actually work out. If you actually had ethical people that cared at the top, maybe it would work out. But we don't have that, do we? We do have God, who could turn it all around, but we know how the end is. It gets a little rough at the end of the book, right?
Case.
And as we know that little baby AI was enough to create the most anxious and depressed generation in our lifetimes, was enough to break down shared reality, polarize political parties much further, change the incentives of the entire media environment, basically colonize the entire world from that baby AI.
And you can see this with X. You can see this with, not so much YouTube, but you can see it with X and some of these other social media, that a lot of people are very divided. Very, very divided. Even on the same side. They could be on the same side of the spectrum and they're all extremely divided. And some of it's dumb. Some of it's just straight up dumb. You know what I mean? But it's working. If you're the guy at the top playing chess, maybe it's an AI, maybe it's a person, maybe it's whatever, doesn't matter. Whoever it is behind it sees, hey, look, I got everybody divided. Society's crumbling a little bit. Look, maybe we can turn this around the way we want it to be. And it's clearly not a person wanting to take it the right direction. That should be pretty obvious.
But to get to your question, so how did we get into AI? First of all, I wasn't like wanting to switch into it. It was that I got calls from people inside the AI labs in January of 2023. This is like a month and a half after the ChatGPT had launched, I think. And these were friends I knew in the tech industry who were now at AI labs. And they basically said, Tristan, there's a huge step function in AI capabilities that's coming. The world is not ready. Institutions are not ready. The government is not ready.
Dude, it's so obvious that, my goodness, you know, maybe you guys can really understand this as well. You see how our president doesn't even understand, like he has a disconnect between people getting put in prison for working on the car and this tech. Like he has a disconnect. He doesn't get it. It's because they don't want you to work on the cars. And and also, by the way, I just saw another video that they're wanting to make it so you have to have a license to buy stuff like a lathe. You have to have a background check. They're literally trying to make it so that you can't even manufacture stuff anymore. So they're trying to make it to where you have less and less rights, less and less opportunities, less and less things you can get and do. And they're like separating classes. They have these billionaire class, and then you have us. And they're trying to separate it and take things from you while they're doing it in the name of safety or some other BS. And they're actually trying to make it to where you actually have to have a background check to get a lathe. Really? A lathe? Seriously? Or any sort of tools? So they're doing these kind of weird things now. I'm actually going to do a video on that next. It makes it very obvious to me what they're doing. It's very obvious that those that are in, of course, power, the real ones, are clearly using these private corporations to do a lot of stuff, not the GOV. Because the GOV, they got limitations. Their arms are tied behind their back because we have rights and stuff like that. So they're using things like these big tech companies. And our president just thinks it's like a race. Oh, we got a race with China. We got to get faster with AI. But AI is not doing well with our culture. It's not making us a better country. You know what I mean? Like it's not the same thing as other things in the past. It's not the same as like a new phone or something. It's not working good. You have here CEO Sam Altman of ChatGPT speaks about the future in San Francisco. I don't know, some sort of meeting they had here, presentation. You'll have, and he's talking about sort of like a worst case scenario of our future. Let's just play this real quick.
But you will have no freedom, you will have no agency, it will be a perfect surveillance state, there will be no privacy. And that's what you're gonna get great comfort, but you will have, there will be nothing left in the world for you to really do, nothing that really matters. You'll just kind of live at the, service of the AI giving you.
So he's talking about like a worst case scenario, but as I indicated, the people running this stuff, like Sam Altman, who's got skeletons, of course, in his closet. He's got his sister suing him. And of course, there's this video I just showed on my other channel, how these AIs love to use blackmail whenever you try to shut them off. There's like a very high percentage chance they'll do that. And you got these people running these companies that are not exactly the best character in the world. They're not exactly Dudley Do-Rights or Mr. Rogers. They're like kind of the worst of our society running these companies. They're just like these movies like Tron, where you got the evil guy running the computer company. Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg. They literally fit the bill. They fit it perfectly. It's so ridiculous. It's almost like you just have to laugh at it, because if it isn't for God, this is all going to go the wrong direction. Very obviously, like 99% chance, or maybe 95, if I'm being a little, lenient with the percentages there. It's not, I don't know why people can't see this. Maybe they're too busy working. They don't have time to think about this stuff. They don't have time to sit down and say, I wonder what the future is going to be like. Well, here we got a guy that worked for an underground, apparently a family that's a decabillionaire family. He was a chef. He was hired, being paid 10 times the normal wages, literally living in a bunker serving these guys. All right. I'm going to play a couple clips from this. It's kind of long. I think it's like the presentation of this part is like 24 minutes. So I'm going to only play a little bit from two different sections. Here it is when he gets to the place, the chef, the new chef. He was kind of broke. He didn't have a job for a long time. He finally got a gig where he's actually going to get paid a lot, but he has to go live at this place.
And he came to a clearing in the middle of the 3 mounds. And it turns out that these mounds were actually artificial. They had been dug up and they had things under them, and they were acting as roofs on top of some structure. And when he turned up, he was not told that he was going to underground bunkers. He was not told about the family very much, because private chefs, really, they are just there to cook, and some of the families or people they cook for probably would rather they didn't know what they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't cook for them.
So, of course, he pulled up on this place, finds out it's an underground bunker. He's living with this family for a while. It's husband and wife, late 20s, maybe early 30s. I think it was 2 children or something, maybe teens. I'm not quite sure. This guy's a decabillionaire, and he gets drunk one night, and he's talking to the chef while he's drunk, saying things, saying why he's got this bunker.
He said that the first weird thing he noticed was that they had requested everything special.
Oh, okay. This is actually not the part. I'm going to get into that in a second, what I was just saying there. They also only wanted specific ingredients for food, which I found really interesting, because we talk a lot about food here and there on this channel, where a lot of our food seems to be like getting worse and worse in our supermarkets, in our restaurants. And it seems like you want to go organic all the time now, because everything seems to be getting strange.
And when he says a special, he means either an allergen or some type of requirement. And he said that every ingredient was a special. In other words, they had to have everything organic. Everything that was meat was grass-fed or hormone-free, and everything had to be up to a set standard. And he said finding this food was damn near impossible, and he had to start pre-ordering it from all different locations, which would then take days to get to his house to then take to the bunker. He could not get the stuff from even Whole Foods, you guys.
Exactly.
He just couldn't locate some
because a lot of the stuff isn't there.
of the stuff they were asking for. It was very bizarre. Miguel got to know this family a bit.
I think it's kind of funny, because I've been trying to eat a lot more organic, and it is really hard to find some of it sometimes. That is true. Of course, this sounds like these guys were even more ridiculous about it than even me, or maybe you. But again, like, this guy got drunk one night and was telling the chef why they were doing what they were doing. Okay, here we go.
That this guy is very powerful. He works in what can only be described as human resource. So he trades grains, he trades livestock, he trades property, everything that is a resource in this world he trades on an international level. It turns out he wasn't really a billionaire. He was more like a deca-billionaire. And this guy had been given multiple tip-offs and informations from insider fraternities and groups that he was in, stating that there was going to be a worldwide cataclysmic event. And he was terrified. He said ever since he got those tip-offs and those rumors, he was preparing because he wanted to live. We all want to live. We value our lives. So he took these messages very seriously. He's not the only one that thinks this. There is an entire community of preppers. Some have their own little underground bunkers in their backyards. Some have just tin beans.
So this is interesting because we've heard about all these billionaires buying bunkers and building them. We even have Mark Zuckerberg with a bunker within a bunker. So it's like even bunkers and bunkers, dude. My bunker's not enough. I need a bunker in the bunker. Well, obviously they know something's coming. Maybe it's Jesus. I don't know. Maybe it's World War III, whatever it might be. Well, obviously there's going to be a lot of insane stuff that happens. Seems like you can see it very much around us already. AI alone could be it. AI alone could cause it. I mean, just that alone, with the people running it on top of that. But, I mean, I'm literally watching this TV show Silo right now, and it's about the same thing. It even has the Iran. Like, I just noticed it today. I was watching the latest season of Silo, and apparently it had to do with Iran. And we're dealing with Iran right now. So I was like, oh, really? So Iran causes the end? I don't know. It's like, what the hell is this crazy stuff? So yeah, so lots of great stuff there, as you can tell. I'm just being sarcastic a little bit there. We got some more stuff as well here. This Bible, this woman here, her channel is K Paji. I'll just show it to you. Let's see if we can get on the screen. There we go. Slide right here. She had an interesting video about a old antique Bible she had from 1883, I believe it was. And she shows some rather intriguing passages and a very clear, plain message that I think a lot of the church needs to hear. So let's play this real quick. First, let's play a little bit from what she said in the beginning. Here, check this out.
A lot of people have been watching for the falling away as if it's going to be this obvious, like, stand up and walk out of all institutional churches. But I am of the belief that the institutional church in itself has fallen away. I'm going to show you out of my 1830 Bible and my 1863 Bible just how much theology has changed in the last 200 years or so. And I would bet that a lot of you guys that read the Bible were confused at where mainstream theology even gets the ideas it has, are going to resonate with the notes in these Bibles because they only support the plain reading of the scriptures. And
all right, so check this out. So she has one over here. She's reading from Revelation. And then she points out a note on the meaning of a word, and it makes it very clear something that I'd say at least at bare minimum 10% of the church gets wrong. And we're talking the gospel. We're straight up like the basics. Okay, check this out.
Publishing house Bible with the Old Testament, the New Testament, references, critical and explanatory notes, along with a condensed concordance. Okay, let's start strong. So in Revelation 2:6, Jesus says, "But this thou hast, that thou hatest the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate." And then again in verse 15, "So hast thou also them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I hate." When you go to the definition of Nicolaitans, it says certain heretical Christians referred to in Revelation 2:6 and 15, who taught that the knowledge of God and Christ was sufficient for salvation, and that being justified by faith, they were free from the restraints of the law and might indulge in sin with impunity. Guys, think about this. This is almost all of modern day Christianity, regardless of denomination.
So I wouldn't agree with her on that. I do agree, though, that's a big chunk of what people call the church. Like, because I've been in a lot of different denominations. I would say it's like more so on the Calvinist side, you see this teaching. Not all Calvinists, of course. Some Calvinists would be against that. Like, for instance, John MacArthur would be against that. He's dead now. But I would say there's quite a few people, though, that think this way. That you can just, as long as you got saving knowledge, literally it said knowledge there, saving knowledge, and it's just by grace and faith, and you don't need to repent of your sins, and if you sin, it don't matter, because you just sin in word, thought, and deed every day. It doesn't matter. Just keep sinning, like it doesn't matter. You got your ticket to heaven. I even had a friend when I was in high school. We were, well, he's kind of like not a really good friend, but like he was kind of my friend. And we were in the car together, and he's like laughing, and I was like, well, what are you laughing about? He's like, yeah, I just got my ticket to heaven. I'm like, well, what are you talking about, dude? he's like, yeah, I just got saved. And I'm like, really? And like it was just so weird the way he said it. So like, I can do whatever I want now. I'm like, what? You can't do whatever you want when you get saved. What are you talking about, dude? Like, so obviously his church taught this crap. There's a lot of churches that teach this garbage. I wouldn't say, it's more on the Protestant side, I would say mostly. And I would say it's like half the Protestant church, maybe not half, but I'd say maybe a quarter that teach kind of this stuff. Probably about a quarter. It could be more or less. I'm not quite sure. Like I went to a lot of different kind of churches. I went to Methodist, Baptist, Nazarene, Assembly of God. I've been to like a lot. My wife's Catholic. I've been to Catholic churches. My good friends, some of my good friends are Orthodox. My sister's Orthodox. Okay, so I've been to a lot. I know a lot about a lot of different churches. But like some Baptists teach this, some don't. Some are against this, some are for it. I don't know about Methodists. I think Methodists, it's like a different type of problem. With Methodists, they actually had the right teaching initially, but now they don't because they're so off track, just being so uber liberal. Their head's gone in other ways, but like the people that run it, there's like a lot of ways you could look at this, but I think probably 25% of the church teaches this.
This is faith alone. This is once saved, always saved. This is we don't have to repent. Repentance is...
Well, I wouldn't say I wouldn't necessarily classify the once saved, always saved in that category. But if you have the wrong understanding of once saved, always saved, if you believe in once saved, always saved, but you think you can just live like the devil, you're definitely being the Nicolaitan. Okay, that's not right. But if you believe like once saved, always saved, and you're committed to Christ, you're never going to fall. That's a different story. That's a different way to look at it. But there are people that believe that like they can just sin all day long, doesn't matter. I'm going to heaven. That is literally what it's talking about in Revelation here. Okay,
is a one-time change of mind. This is almost everybody today, and this was written what?
She obviously is a Protestant. This girl's a Protestant, obviously. I mean, she's like if you go to a Catholic church, they don't think the same about this topic, but also some Catholics have wrong understandings as well. So it's like a different thing. Like the Calvinist Protestants have their issues. Catholics have their issues. Like everybody, all these churches got like ways the devil tries to get in and mess your doctrines up. But this is a big thing in the Protestant church, I would say. Like this whole idea that like you can just get saved and then like one time sinner's prayer and you can do whatever you want. This is BS. 100% a lie. And like I said, I even knew a guy when I grew up, he was like laughing, like, oh, I can do whatever I want. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? You stupid or something? Of course you can't just do whatever you want. The word faith, if you look at the actual Greek word for faith, this is where they make their mistake. These people that believe this stuff. They think, oh, it says faith. You just got to believe. That's it. The word faith doesn't mean just believe. You go look at the ancient Greek on the word faith. It means fidelity, faithfulness. The word faithfulness means you're faithful to your wife. It doesn't mean you believe in your wife. It means you're not cheating on her. Duh. So when you're faithful to Christ, when you have faith in Christ, it means you're faithful to Christ. It means you're committed to him. And this is where the disconnect is. They don't know the actual Greek word meaning of the word faith. And that's where their error is. And that is what leads to this whole Nicolaitans idea. And then also you have to reject other things Jesus said. Like Jesus said to the rich man, go sell what you have, give it to the poor, come follow me. Why would he say that? Why didn't he just say, hey, believe on me, and then you can sin like the devil and just keep your money and follow me? Like, you know what I mean? Like he didn't say that to him, obviously. So the whole point was you have to give up your God for the God. What is your God, right? So obviously if you give up your God, you're being faithful to Christ because you put him in the right position as God. And they call this lordship salvation on the Calvinist side or whatever retarded terminology they came up with. That was the whole thing with John MacArthur. But it's just what it literally says in the Greek. So if you look at the ancient Greek of the term faith. At any rate, that's my video. Kind of wonder what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.